It's not right, Tom. I don't deserve to die for that. Do you think I do? I can't die. Like a dumbass. I can't die. Look at your heart. Look at your heart. I'm praying to you. Look at your heart. Look at your heart.
Tom Reagan is clever, cautious, and everyone wants him on their side. For years, he has served as the right-hand man and trusted advisor to Irish gang boss Leo O'Bannon. With Tom's advice, Leo has managed to control much of the city, keeping the mayor and other powerful people in his pocket. One day, Italian gang boss Johnny Casper comes to Leo with a serious problem. One of Casper's illegal businesses involves fixing boxing matches, but someone has been betting against him and costing him money. Casper believes the person responsible is Bernie Birnbaum, a Jewish bookmaker who has been selling information about Casper's bets. Casper wants Leo to kill Bernie. Leo, however, is not convinced that Bernie is acting alone. He glances toward Casper's right-hand man, Eddie Dane, and asks whether there might be someone else behind the problem. Casper insists that Bernie is the only one responsible. His boxers and his bookie Mink are all connected to Dane, while Bernie is the only one willing to betray him. But Leo still refuses to kill him. Bernie pays protection money just like everyone else, so Leo sees no reason to turn against one of his own customers. Casper quickly loses his temper. He reminds Leo that he pays far more money in protection than Bernie does and argues that Leo has a responsibility to protect his business as well. The argument grows heated as Casper finally complains that he is tired of constantly bowing to the Irish. Before things get worse, Eddie Dane grabs Casper and stops his boss from going any further. As they prepare to leave, Leo reminds Casper that his power and success came partly because Leo allowed him to grow. Casper simply sneers that he knows, and the meeting ends without a deal. Afterward, Tom tells Leo that there is no reason to risk a war with Casper over someone as insignificant as Bernie. But Leo quickly changes the subject and brings up Tom's gambling debts, asking whether he is supposed to pay them as well. Tom refuses to mix his personal problems with Leo's business. He insists that he will handle his own debts and reminds Leo that he should do the same.
Oh, come on, Tommy. You know I don't like to think.
I'll think about whether you should start.
Leo is not protecting Bernie because it makes business sense. He is doing it for personal reasons. Bernie is the brother of Leo's girlfriend, Verna Birnbaum. But there is another problem Tom has been keeping to himself. Verna, knowing how important Tom is to Leo, has also become involved with him behind Leo's back. Tom understands exactly how dangerous this relationship is, yet he cannot bring himself to walk away from her. And with Leo, Casper, Bernie, and Verna all connected to him in different ways, Tom is already standing in the middle of a dangerous game where one wrong move could bring everything crashing down. Early that morning at around 4, Leo comes to Tom's apartment looking for advice. Verna has disappeared, and Leo is becoming increasingly worried about her. Tom, however, calmly tells him not to worry about Verna and returns to the real issue. He reminds Leo that Bernie needs to be dealt with and warns him not to let his personal feelings blind him to the danger. Tom knows exactly what Verna is doing. She is the kind of woman who looks for opportunities wherever she finds them, and Leo is allowing his feelings for her to cloud his judgment. Leo refuses to accept that. He immediately starts defending Verna, but Tom points out that if she were truly innocent, there would be no reason for her to disappear in the middle of the night. That is when Leo finally explains why he came to Tom in the first place. The previous evening, he had assigned one of his men, Rug Daniel, to quietly follow Verna and make sure she was safe. Now Rug has also disappeared. Tom sees how worried Leo has become and once again tells him that this is exactly why Bernie needs to be removed. Leo knows he cannot easily argue with Tom's logic. He gives him a small smile, tells him to let him know if he discovers anything, and finally leaves.
Let me know if you hear anything.
The truth, however, is much closer than Leo realizes. Verna is not missing at all. She is in Tom's bedroom.
What did you tell Leo?
I told him you were a tramp and he should dump you.
You're a son of a bitch, Tom.
Elsewhere in the city, Rug is found dying in an alley. Nobody knows who attacked him, and his death immediately raises tensions between the rival gangs. At the same time, Tom's own problems are getting worse. His gambling debts continue to grow, especially after his horse, Thunderclap, is injured in a racing accident. Later, at Leo's private club, Mink approaches Tom with a request. He wants Tom to convince Leo to continue protecting Bernie, insisting that Bernie is a good man. Tom immediately understands what is happening. Mink is connected to Eddie Dane, so Tom questions why he is suddenly speaking up for Bernie. Mink casually argues that a man can have more than one friend. Tom does not bother arguing with him. Instead, he quietly warns Mink that Dane will not appreciate him getting too close to Bernie and then walks away. A little later, Tom joins Leo, who is meeting with the mayor and the police chief. Leo tells him that he plans to use the authorities to destroy Casper's illegal businesses. Tom still does not believe Casper was responsible for Rug's death. He argues that Leo should either kill Bernie now or wait until they have a stronger reason to move against Casper. But Leo refuses to listen. His feelings for Verna continue to control his decisions, and he cannot bring himself to turn against her brother. Tom eventually gives up. Frustrated and angry, he leaves the meeting. Instead of going home, he heads straight to the ladies' room and confronts Verna. Tom tells her to stop manipulating Leo. Verna immediately pushes back, insisting that there is nothing wrong with protecting her own brother. In her mind, as long as she keeps Leo happy, she has every right to use her influence to protect Bernie. Then she turns the accusation back on Tom, asking if he is deliberately working against her to stop her from seeing Leo. Tom's patience finally disappears. He tells Verna that if protecting Leo means exposing their affair, then he is prepared to do exactly that. He then cruelly insults her family, calling them gold diggers, before suddenly grabbing her and kissing her. Verna instantly slaps Tom across the face and storms out of the room, leaving him standing there alone. A short while later, Tom returns home only to find two problems waiting for him. Bernie is there, and so are the collection calls. Tom answers the phone first and calmly explains that he does not have the money yet. He asks for a few more days and tells the caller that if they do not trust him, they are free to break his leg. Once he hangs up, Bernie immediately tries to negotiate. He reminds Tom that he is a good man and warns him to be careful about what he says to Leo. Bernie clearly believes that if he helps Tom pay off his debts, Tom will return the favor by protecting him from Leo. Tom does not agree or refuse. He simply says he will think about it and tells Bernie to leave.
Like I say, you can't have too many. I wouldn't want it any other way.
A moment later, Tom starts looking for another way to borrow money, hoping to place another bet on the next horse race. But before he can find a solution, two of Casper's men, Frankie and Tic Tac, arrive and take him to one of Casper's buildings. There, Casper offers Tom a deal. He is willing to write him a check that would solve his financial problems, but in exchange, Tom must convince Leo to hand over Bernie. Tom gives Casper the same answer he gave Bernie. He will think about it. Casper does not take the answer nearly as well. He becomes furious and warns Tom that if he refuses, he will not leave the building in good condition. He then orders Frankie to rough him up and walks away. But before Frankie can do much damage, Tom grabs a chair and swings it into him. Unfortunately, Frankie is barely hurt and returns with Tic Tac, who lands several hard punches that finally knock him to the floor. Fortunately, the police arrive just in time to raid one of Casper's operations, accidentally saving Tom from a much worse beating. Afterward, Tom asks the police chief what else he knows about Rug's murder. The chief can only confirm that Rug was shot with a .22 caliber weapon. Frustrated by the lack of progress, he asks Tom why they do not simply hand over someone like Bernie and end the problem. Tom immediately becomes angry and reminds the chief that his job is to follow Leo's orders. Tom may be willing to tell Leo whatever he thinks, but he refuses to be disrespected by anyone else. He even reminds the chief that plenty of other police officers would be happy to take his position. Tom then heads to Verna's apartment to investigate Rug's death for himself. Verna is still angry with him and immediately reports his presence to the police. Tom quickly takes the phone and identifies himself before ordering the officers to send additional protection to Leo's house. He knows Casper will want revenge after the police raid, and Leo is likely to be the first target. Once the call ends, Tom asks Verna if she killed Rug, saying the weapon was a woman's gun. Verna denies it, insisting that she had no reason to kill Rug. Instead of answering further, she turns the conversation back toward Tom and asks why he is so jealous of Leo. Tom refuses to admit that jealousy has anything to do with it. But despite everything that has happened between them, he still chooses to stay with Verna that night. Meanwhile, Casper's gunmen move against Leo. They quietly enter his house and eliminate the guards one by one before moving toward his bedroom. But Leo notices smoke rising through the wooden floor and realizes that something is wrong. Just in time, he dives beneath the bed and returns fire, dropping one attacker while the other escapes. Leo immediately grabs a Tommy gun and climbs out through the window. As another gunman enters the room, Leo opens fire again, tearing through him with a burst of bullets. But Leo is not finished. He turns his weapon toward the fleeing getaway car and keeps firing until the vehicle is destroyed in a massive explosion. The attack has failed, and now the war between Leo and Casper has officially begun. The next morning, Leo's entire gang gathers at the club, but something immediately feels different. Neither the mayor nor the police chief shows up, and everyone slowly realizes what that means. The authorities and nearly every gang in the city are now siding with Casper. Still, Tom refuses to give up. He once again tells Leo that there is only one way to take back control of the city. Leo must hand Bernie over to Casper. But this time, Leo's tone is different. He quietly admits that he cannot do it because he has already decided to marry Verna. Tom realizes that Leo is beyond reason. So, with no other choice left, he finally reveals what he believes really happened to Rugg. Casper did not kill him. Verna did. Because Rugg was the only person who knew about Verna's affair, making him the one person who could expose her secret. Leo still struggles to believe it, but then Tom takes an even bigger risk. He admits that the man Verna was having an affair with was him. The confession leaves the entire room silent. Tom knows Leo could easily kill him, but he has done it to make Leo understand the truth and correct his mistake before it is too late. Leo finally realizes that Tom is telling the truth. For a moment, he says nothing. Then, without warning, Leo beats Tom in front of everyone and fires him as a traitor.
It's the kiss-off. If I never see him again, it'll be soon enough.
That night, he wastes no time looking for another way to survive and even begins trying to contact Casper about a job. But before he can finish the call, Verna arrives, forcing him to hang up. Leo has already ended his relationship with her. Verna continues insisting that she did not kill Rugg and accuses Tom of manipulating everyone to get whatever he wants.
You always take the long way around to get what you want, don't you, Tom?
What did I want?
Me.
He spends the entire night awake, trying to figure out what his next move should be. At one point, Verna asks whether he plans to convince Leo to take him back, insisting that Leo has a big heart and will eventually forgive them. Tom firmly rejects the idea. He is finished with Leo, and he knows better than Verna. Leo may have a big heart, but he is not weak. Verna then suggests that they leave the city together. There is nothing left for either of them in this place. Tom, however, immediately sees another problem. He asks where Bernie is. If Casper discovers Bernie's location before Tom does, Bernie will not survive for long. Tom needs to find him first.
The Royale, room 302.
After Verna gives him the information, Tom heads straight to Casper's office. The mayor and police chief are already there, but Casper sends them outside so he can speak with Tom privately. He jokingly tells Tom that he only hires thieves who have graduated from their profession, then asks whether Tom has finally graduated as well.
You got references? You been to college? We only take yeggs what's been to college. Ain't that right, Dean?
Tom remains silent. Casper quickly drops the joke and changes his attitude. He tells Tom that he has always been too intelligent, too capable to remain under Leo's shadow. Casper clearly likes him. Eddie Dane, however, feels very differently. To Dane, Tom is nothing more than a traitor who abandoned Leo when things became difficult. Casper also remains suspicious and wants proof that Tom is genuinely willing to work for him. Tom simply smiles and, without hesitation, reveals where Bernie is hiding. But then he adds one more detail. Mink is Bernie's friend, so there is a good chance he is hiding with him as well. The information immediately creates tension between Tom and Dane. Casper becomes suspicious of Mink and orders Dane to find him. Then Casper gives Tom his first assignment. Tom is to take Frankie and Tic Tac and eliminate Bernie. Just like that, Tom gets exactly what he needs.
Get your little he-bats in the car.
Lock him up here. Jesus, are you part of this?
Sit still, Jaime.
They arrest Bernie and take him deep into the woods. There, Tic Tac hands Tom a handgun and explains that Casper wants proof of Tom's loyalty. With no other choice, Tom takes the gun and leads Bernie farther into the woods. Bernie immediately breaks down. Tears run down his face as he begs Tom to spare his life, even dripping mucus from his nose while desperately pleading for another chance. Tom listens without saying much.
I can't die. Look in your heart.
Finally, he raises the gun and points it directly at Bernie. But Tom can't shoot him and fires into the ground instead.
Tommy.
Shut up. You're dead, get me?
Tom then gives Bernie one final order. He must leave the city and disappear completely. From now on, he has to live as if he is already dead. Bernie does not need to be told twice. He blows Tom a grateful kiss and immediately runs into the woods without looking back.
Put one in his brain?
Yeah.
Atta boy.
Later that night, Tom uses a payphone beside the street to call Mink. He tells him that Bernie is dead, but secretly warns him to get out of town as quickly as possible. Casper and Dane now know that Mink and Bernie were friends, and they may come after him next.
Eddie Dane's been looking for you. You'll lay low till Casper cools out. That's right, I got you into this. Just remember, Mink, I'm the only one that can get you out.
Wait a minute, Tom.
He gets a message from Leo to stay away from the gang war. Tom responds by insulting Leo, calling him an old man with less brains than the brilliantine on his head.
Cross Leo next time, I'll say plenty.
Later, Tom visits Casper, where he receives news that Mink has disappeared. Worse, Mink apparently fled with a large supply of Casper's powder, making Casper believe that Mink was the one leaking information. Tom does not accept the explanation so easily. He calmly asks who told Casper that Mink had disappeared, planting another small seed of suspicion toward Dane. Casper, however, refuses to believe that Dane could betray him. He insists that Dane has no reason to turn against him. Then Casper reveals something important. Dane had already believed Tom was a double-crosser and had urged Casper to kill him before Tom was ever hired. Casper admits that he chose not to listen because he believes in keeping his promises. He had promised Tom a job if he killed Bernie, and Tom had done exactly what was asked of him. For Casper, honesty is the only way to know who is truly on his side. But Tom hears something very different. He hears a warning. Tom calmly advises Casper to kill Dane before Dane kills him. Dane is not interested in money. He wants Casper's position and eventually plans to take control of the entire organization. Casper remains uncertain, so Tom gives him one final piece of advice. He tells Casper not to make the same mistake Leo made by allowing personal feelings to interfere with business. At that moment, Casper's young son suddenly rushes into the office, excitedly announcing that he has won a prize. Annoyed by the interruption, Casper slaps the boy and tells him to learn from Tom, who speaks less and thinks more. The boy immediately starts crying, forcing Casper to calm him down.
Aren't we friends anymore? If you find him, I want to talk to him alone. That's the way you get the straight dope, man to man. Just me, Mink, and my friend Roscoe. You understand what I'm saying?
The next day, Tom meets Verna and tells her to stay hidden for a few days until the situation settles down. He also reassures her that Bernie is safe. He's already far away. But Tom does not realize that Dane has been following him.
That's Bernie's sister, ain't it? What's he seeing her for?
Determined to find out what Tom is planning, he confronts Verna and reveals that Bernie was killed by Tom himself.
You dumping Leo for the guy who put a bullet in your brother? Didn't tell you.
Verna is shocked. Before Dane can question her further, Leo's gunmen suddenly rush in to protect her. Dane reacts instantly, opening fire and killing them both. As one of the dying men reveals Leo's hideout, Dane finally gets the information he needs. Now, with Leo's location exposed, the balance of power is about to shift again.
Go ahead and run, sweetie.
Later that night, Bernie secretly sneaks into Tom's apartment, much to Tom's disappointment. Although Bernie thanks him for sparing his life, he quickly turns threatening. He tells Tom that he wants Casper dead, and if Tom refuses to make it happen, Bernie will reveal that he is still alive and make sure Tom goes down with him. Tom quietly listens without showing much emotion. The moment Bernie leaves, Tom grabs a handgun and climbs out through the window. But when he manages to get back inside the building, Bernie is already waiting for him and quickly disarms him. Tom's sudden plan has failed. So he returns to Leo's club and starts looking for another way to solve the problem. He casually asks the bartender whether anyone has placed a large bet on a long-shot fighter in the upcoming matches. Fortunately, Tom gets a name, Drop Johnson. Before he can learn anything more, the police suddenly raid the club. Tom calmly walks outside and finds the police chief waiting nearby. During their casual conversation, Tom manages to learn where Drop Johnson lives. The next day, while Tom is on his way to Johnson's apartment, Dane and his men suddenly grab him. They have heard the rumor that Bernie may still be alive, so they drag Tom into the woods to find out the truth for themselves. As they walk deeper into the forest, Tom realizes exactly what is coming. Dane, meanwhile, seems to be enjoying every moment, eager to kill Tom and finally remove the traitor he has always seen in him. Knowing that his life may be over, Tom suddenly stops and vomits. Dane prepares to shoot him, but before he can pull the trigger, Tic Tac discovers a body nearby and tells everyone to stop. Fortunately for Tom, the corpse's face has been badly damaged, making it impossible to identify whether the dead man is really Bernie. Tom has survived again. After escaping the woods, he continues to Drop Johnson's apartment and quietly studies the man's lifestyle. It quickly becomes obvious that Johnson cannot afford to place the kind of large bet that was recently made. Tom directly asks whether Bernie is behind the bet. Johnson denies it and claims he simply has a good feeling about the upcoming fight. Instead of pushing any further, Tom simply leaves a message for Bernie and walks away. Meanwhile, the war between the Italian and Irish gangs continues to grow more violent. Tom visits the mayor's office, where Casper and the mayor are arguing over Casper's demand to hire his two twin cousins. Tom steps into the conversation and reminds the mayor that he should obey Casper's demands just as he once obeyed Leo. Casper joins in and pressures the mayor until a man finally leaves the room. Once they are alone, Casper unexpectedly apologizes to Tom for what happened that morning. He admits that he overreacted after hearing the rumor about Bernie. Tom immediately takes advantage of the opening. He explains that the rumor was most likely spread by Dane because Dane wanted an excuse to kill him. Then Tom reveals something even more important. Someone has leaked information about tomorrow's boxing match. This time, Tom manages to convince Casper that the leak must have come from someone close to him. With Bernie already presumed dead and Mink missing, Dane becomes the obvious suspect. Casper grows increasingly frustrated. He complains that nobody seems to understand loyalty anymore and wonders when all the betrayals will finally stop. For Tom, however, everything is going exactly as planned. A short while later, Bernie finally contacts him. Tom immediately asks whether the body found in the woods was Mink. Bernie does not deny it. Tom also learns that Mink was carrying a .22 caliber handgun, giving him another important piece of information about Rug's murder. But instead of answering Bernie's threats, Tom turns the pressure back on him. He tells Bernie that he is leaving town the next day. If Bernie wants to stay alive, he must bring Tom $2,000 by 4 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, Tom will tell Casper the truth. Before Bernie can respond, Tom hangs up. But the moment Tom steps outside, he finds the debt collectors waiting for him. Tired of hearing excuses about delayed payments, they punish him for making them wait. Knowing Tom's background, however, they stop short of breaking his legs and leave him with a painful warning instead. Later, Tom goes to meet Casper, only to discover that Dane has already brought Drop Johnson in as evidence. Thinking quickly, Tom turns the situation around. He convinces Casper that Johnson was actually Dane's man, and within moments, the suspicion shifts away from Tom and toward Dane. Before Dane can kill Tom, Casper suddenly steps in and strikes him down. With Dane finally out of the way, Tom calmly tells Casper that Mink is supposed to appear at his apartment by 4 in the morning. However, Tom asks Casper not to kill him. He explains that he promised Mink his life in exchange for revealing the names of the people leaking information. Later, as Tom slowly walks home, Verna suddenly appears and points a gun at him. She demands to know the truth. Tom gives her only one answer. Bernie is still alive. The revelation leaves Verna completely confused. She lowers the gun and walks away into the rain, looking more hopeless than ever. At 4 in the morning, Casper stays true to his word and goes to Tom's apartment. Once he arrives, Tom sends the driver away, leaving Casper face to face with Bernie. Before Casper can react, Bernie shoots him dead. Bernie is deeply impressed by Tom's plan and keeps praising him for arranging everything so perfectly. Tom, however, remains calm. He asks Bernie to hand over the gun, explaining that they can now frame the murder on Dane. Tom takes Bernie's handgun and places it in his pocket. He also quietly takes the money from Casper's wallet, knowing that it will finally help him pay off his debts. And once everything seems safe, Tom casually gives Bernie one final piece of information. They cannot blame Dane for Casper's murder. Dane is already dead. Only then does Bernie finally understand the entire plan.
Jesus Christ, it don't make sense.
But before Bernie can even begin begging for his life, Tom shoots him dead with Casper's handgun. Calmly, Tom arranges the two guns to make the scene look convincing. He then calls the bookie and places a bet, completing the final step of his plan. The gang war is finally over.
All of it. I want to place a bet on tonight's fight.
Verna at least gets the chance to give her brother a proper funeral instead of leaving his body to disappear forever. But she is still furious with Tom and refuses to forgive him. After the funeral, Verna drives away, leaving Leo and Tom behind. As they walk together, Leo tells Tom that he and Verna are planning to get married. He also apologizes for what happened and asks Tom to come back and work with him again, promising that he will do whatever Tom wants.
Jesus, Tom, I'd do anything if you'd work for me again.
Tom firmly refuses. He tells Leo that the moment Leo fired him, their partnership ended for good. No matter what Leo offers now, Tom has already made his decision. Leo does not argue. He simply walks away alone, leaving Tom standing behind. For the first time, Tom has no boss, no partner, and no one left to protect. But he has finally settled every debt.